And we're live once again on Monday night. Oh wait, shit, it's Tuesday night with Shooter and the Stache.
Tuesday night live.
We didn't work yesterday, so totally been thinking all day was Monday today. But
feels like a Monday. Except
like a
you know
Monday.
why it doesn't feel like a Monday? Because HBO Hard Knocks was tonight.
That's true.
Oh.
We all know.
And what an episode.
What an episode.
We're going to talk about that
So
episode. But we just promised on Instagram a hurricane report from Shooter and Stache.
Hurricane Central.
We need some graphics. We need a graphic guy.
Yes.
We need a graphic guy. I'm visioning like hurricane popping on the screen 100 times.
Totally.
To where drowned it out and then a spinning cyclone in the middle that brings us back.
Totally back.
We'll see.
Totally back. Woo! It'll be almost like a mix between The Wizard of Oz and
And what?
Scooby-Doo ending. Yes, Wizard of Oz and Scooby-Doo ending from Wayne's World. That's where I was going with that. Totally, right. But then like a hurricane's coming. A cyclone.
All right, so there is some Bucks news tied to the hurricane. Give it to us, Stache.
Well, I think we're all aware at this point that we have no idea if the game is going to be played this Sunday, except for the fact that it's not going to be played in Miami.
That's the only news we got. There will be a Bucks-Dolphins game, and it will not be in Miami.
Right.
Okay. What does that mean?
We have no idea.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows yet.
So I'm getting in here on the Facebook, so we have our access to our comments here. So we want you to join us. We want you to tell us about your favorite parts about Hard Knocks tonight. There were some deep moments, and hopefully you guys watched with us.
It was 53-man night, or week on the episode. So a lot of dreams got crushed. As usual, they pretty much only focused on the same guys they've been focusing on all season. It's one of those things where I feel like they kind of go to the coaches before the beginning of the show and kind of say, all right, who are your guys that you think are like on the bubble, the most compelling stories, the guy you think is going to be tough to cut at the end of training camp. And that's the kind of the guys that they like to focus on. Good on them. Really good production, I think. And it was really compelling, I thought. Especially, I think the way they opened the episode with a little bit of Mike Evans' history. And well, actually, they opened the episode with something I'm a huge fan of, and I did not know goes on. And that's Friday Fight Song Friday.
Yeah.
When you get into the gym on Friday, they'll play your fight song from your alma mater, and I think that's pretty cool.
And that's the kind of Easter egg I was looking for.
Right, all season long.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say all season long now that the season is over.
It's over, all 5 episodes.
Too short, by the way. Too short. Like, here's the thing.
Why don't they go to week 1?
There should be one more episode. Right?
Yeah. Well, what would be cool, I think what would be cool is if they went and followed the practice squad. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously can't be giving away too much of the secrets of the team where, other teams could go and watch footage, but you're not really showing the plays. But I think it'd be compelling if you showed, like, some of the guys that got signed to the practice squad, you know, and see how they develop throughout the season.
Right.
That being said, not necessarily like it needs to be all 16 weeks, but maybe another 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks of the season, and seeing how they progress. I don't know, maybe that's not compelling enough because you don't really have the stars of the franchise there,
Yeah, but they didn't feature that many of the stars. So
not tonight.
Well, there were, like, Levante David was barely on it.
Right.
And we know he's, the silent leader,
right,
or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Very silent.
Very silent. Absent.
Yeah, and there were some other players that weren't really featured at all. Cameron Brate was barely on there. Adam Humphries, barely on there. Jaquez Rogers, I don't think he was on the show at all.
Once, yeah.
Even a picture of him running.
Yeah.
And he's a running back.
Yeah, and he's going to pretty much start the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, so you think they would, touch on that a little bit. Maybe get a little insight from Quiz.
Yeah.
They should give him a pop quiz. A quiz with
quiz
pop
for quiz.
Yeah.
Quizzes with quiz.
Yeah.
Quiz on quiz?
Call us up, HBO.
Hey,
we
we got a gang of this shit. We got
ideas.
a gang of this shit.
I got a whole notebook of ideas, and I'm not sharing them.
Right.
Actually,
not even with me. Not even with me. That's how selfish this. No, that's not true.
So yeah, we started off with
GMC getting hyped in the weight room.
Yeah.
To Boomer Sooner.
A lot of dancing.
And then we got a little cool insight into Mike Evans and some of his tattoos and what they mean, and his youth and some of the things he went through growing up, which I didn't really know about him. So
no, there's a tragic history to Mike Evans,
yeah,
and it's surprising how good of a guy he seems, because it started off that segment where he was talking about how he's raising money for Galveston, where he's from, because of the Hurricane Harvey. And then it got into that story. I took away from his tattoos that he is a huge Harry Potter fan.
Also that, yes.
Because he had one Harry Potter tattoo, which I thought was interesting. And the rest were a lot, like family and stuff like that. So that was cool to see. I'm impressed with Mike Evans because he used to lose his cool a lot during games when he was a rookie.
Especially when he was dropping passes. It would lead to him dropping even more passes because he'd get in his own head.
I think having a baby or a family,
being a family man
has helped him out
a lot,
tremendously,
immensely,
yes,
immeasurably.
So that was cool to see. The other thing they showed towards the beginning was Bobo Wilson kind of the coaches were starting to talk good about Bobo Wilson for once,
right?
Which was pretty interesting because he seemed to be the guy that
was always in the doghouse in the first. This especially episode 4, they were really on him about just in general. But I think that might have been a little bit of a setup by the production team of HBO. Yeah. Them having a little bit of insight from the coaches knowing, I can't imagine you could produce the show without, having that access to the coaches a little bit and knowing who's more likely to stay and who's more likely to go in practice squad and whatnot. And the other thing that I kind of took, you were talking about Bobo.
No, that was it.
Yeah.
He was just kind of getting on the coach's good side.
Yeah. Finally.
Maybe a little foreshadowing for later in the episode because they kind of teed up Bobo versus Dante Dye.
Yep. Deontay.
And they had Dye over in Ybor.
Yep.
Ybor got a little cameo in a cigar shop.
Rolling some cigars.
So they kind of teed that up right away that those guys were vying for a roster spot. And the ironic part was, spoiler alert, everybody knows this already, but neither one of them made the team.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah.
One made the practice squad. They were really fighting for a spot.
Well, and that's what it was. Yeah, they came, and that's the other thing I was gonna say that I took away kind of from this episode that I was probably not as aware of because I haven't really watched as much. I've watched Hard Knocks here and there, but I haven't watched necessarily the whole series. I thought a lot more guys made the practice squad out of, just I just assumed if you didn't make the 53-man roster, you were automatically the guys that filled up the practice squad. And it doesn't seem like that's necessarily the case. Not everybody gets cut
because there's only a certain number of spots, I think.
Right. So, well, I'm sure they already have guys on the practice squad that they're trying to maintain, you know what I mean? So that's why they're not going to be invited back or...
Yeah.
But, some of the favorite guys did get invited back, though. And, Bulla didn't make it, but he got invited back.
Yeah.
So.
He did. And we'll get into that. Let's stick to... I have it all. I have the timeline set up. I've got the timeline.
Chronological order.
Listen, I want to stick to
chronological order. Fine.
Because we had a drastic or quick ending to
That's true.
We'll talk about.
It was quite abrupt.
One of the best parts of this episode was towards the beginning too, though, where it was Jason Light in a conference room and he starts singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
He did the first line of Bohemian Rhapsody
to his Siri.
Yeah.
And she sings the rest. I don't have an iPhone. Yeah. I'm an Android
guy.
I
am. Yeah.
And I did not know you could do this.
Me either. I didn't know that she would do this, and it's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it for every song? Or is it just for
I don't know. Maybe that's like a fluke that he found, or maybe I don't know.
And it's funny because Siri just sings.
It didn't stop.
Yeah, it sings the entire rest of the song.
Like you expect it to say, because as he says, what does he say? I'm just a poor... No. What was the first line? I can't remember the first line that he sang.
I don't either, but
it basically went almost a minute long of lyrics that she just did. And went all the way up to the no, 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 no. But there's
no tone at all.
No,
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 no, no,
no,
no,
no, no. And it just got more and more funny. Like you were expecting it to quit, and you're like, okay, I'm over it. But then it kept going, and then it got funny again. And then you're like, oh, I'm over it. And then it kept going, and it got funny again. And eventually, by the time it ended, it was just, I thought it was just gold. It was amazing.
I need to get the audio from that. I know a couple people with an iPhone that I think I
could probably get that.
I want to find out if it does that for every song, though.
I wonder if Bixby does that.
What is Bixby? Is that
It's the new
bear?
It's the new assistant on Android phones.
Oh, really?
It's supposed to
never even heard of it.
I haven't set mine up yet. So.
Oh, you have to set it up. I was going to say, let's try it right now.
Let's see.
I'm going to invite some Bucks fans to join us here, because I want to know what the fans thought of this, and I also want people's opinion on where the game should be. I'm hoping the Bucks play this weekend. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
But apparently there's nowhere for them to play, because Miami's not looking good. It's not looking good for Florida right now. We'll have to wait for the hurricane update.
We'll see.
So I'm inviting some people, so you can't... Oh, you're going to test it out?
I'm trying to, yeah.
Bixby. You've got to set it up. I've never even heard of this Bixby.
Right.
All right, so...
I don't have dead air, but go ahead.
I'll talk about... what else? Mike Evans and his Harry Potter thing. I took note of that for maybe future videos. There was a conversation about the dirty South.
Well, that, yes. Jameis Winston kind of went on a little tirade about how if you play football in the dirty South, it means a little bit more, or just it's a little bit different than other places in the country. Specifically, he was kind of saying up north, which, I mean, I kind of understand what he's saying, because I played youth football in the Panhandle of Florida, which he included in the dirty South, which I would as well.
He did.
That strip, basically, North Florida. North Florida, where the Panhandle and all the way straight across east, that's kind of the cutoff line. Anything south of that, you just actually start getting a little bit more northern.
I don't know. I was with him until he talked about Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, New Orleans.
But then he went up to Kentucky,
and Tennessee, and
that's a stretch.
That's different. That's different though, because that's like the hill people. You know what I mean? That's not mountain people. They're a lot different than the dirty South people. But I kind of understood what he was saying about when you grow up playing football in the dirty South. It's a way of life. It's not just a game. It's not just a sport. It's, you learn a lot of your life lessons through football and through your coaches and through your experiences of playing the game. And it's just, it's ingrained in people, especially up there in the Panhandle and that Gulf region, Mobile, Tallahassee, Panama City.
It's almost like hockey in Canada.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I agree with that.
Totally. Right. And so, and it was kind of a good point, So
the dirty South, but
dirty.
That's kind of, it reminds me of the Falcons, the Dirty Birds, for some reason.
Right.
So I wasn't all in. And then we saw before the final preseason game versus the Redskins, it was actually Ryan Griffin, who was not suited up, because obviously he's injured, with the classic Q's and C's pregame speech.
Right.
And he had a good one. He had a good one about Seppo and Bobo.
And Seppo fan and Bobo fans go, whoa, whoa, and
oh no,
Bobo. And...
All right, so it wasn't that good, but it was better than Seppo's.
Right.
Probably better than Jameis's. So...
Right.
Q's and C's speeches, one of the highlights of this year's episode, or not episode,
but series,
yeah, with Hard Knocks. And then we get into the preseason game against the Redskins, which was just a rough game to watch. So you had Dante Dye basically going up head to head, like we said, with Bobo Wilson in that game.
I'm Bixby.
Oh.
It's great to meet you.
Bixby's a girl?
Just press the Bixby key whenever you need me. I'll respond to your voice or...
Breaking news here.
All of the languages...
We have Bixby.
We have Bixby voice. Let's get there.
Check and agree to the terms and conditions.
Well, now you've got to sign your life away. Once you hit that agree button now,
Here
Bixby...
I'm dead. You can find me.
This goes.
Bixby owns you.
Is to hold down the Bixby key on the left and speak. After you're done talking, you can release the Bixby key.
We don't know the line, though, that you're supposed to say.
I do. I think.
So if anyone just joined, we're talking about Jason Light.
Hold on.
Holding down the key.
I see a little silhouette of a man.
Let's try this again.
Did you press the button?
Show me my pictures.
No problem. Let's move on to
Are you in the tutorial?
Yes, I have to. It's lame.
Alright, we can't do the tutorial. We're live!
I know.
We're live!
This is compelling stuff, man. Anybody out there that doesn't know how to set up their Bixby is going to find out.
Yeah, this is going to be like a Bixby tutorial / Hard Knocks episode 5 post-game show. So, if anyone's out there, and I know you are, tell us, did you guys watch the episode? What was your favorite parts? I think I already talked about my favorite part, but there was some other parts as well.
Yeah.
So, do you have it ready?
Well, I think maybe I skipped through everything. Let's find out.
Alright, so let's set this up, though.
I can work with all these apps.
Shut up, Bixby!
Sure they're all updated.
First of all, Bixby's a boy's name, isn't it?
I don't know.
Just screams out boy. Bixby. Bix boy. It's missing one letter. So what we're trying to do here...
I can work with all these apps.
Bixby.
So let's make sure they're all updated.
Alright. Jason Light, in the episode towards the beginning of Hard Knocks, episode 5, started to talk to his phone, his iPhone, and started to say lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen song. And Siri went on and finished the entire song for him, which was one of the highlights of the episode. So we want to find out if Bixby, which is the new Android version of Siri,
Right.
can actually do this. This is just... Now we're doing science on this show. Did you ever think you were going to come to this page and get science? Danny's hungry. We don't have any food in here.
I'm hungry for some football, and I'm also hoping that I can get some wings this weekend while I'm watching football, nice and cozy in my own house.
What sauce you want on those?
I mean, hot. It's always going to be hot garlic parm or hot honey barbecue. Those are my two go-tos.
You're just mixing sauces now.
Of course.
So you're getting 2 orders.
Absolutely.
Okay. What's your favorite spot for wings in the Tampa Bay area? Is it Buffalo Wild Wings?
Never. Not in a million years.
They're a sponsor.
Of who?
No. Not this show.
Because I missed out on all those perks. But I don't know if those would be called perks from Buffalo. Oh, just kidding. I'm not crap on them or anything. Man, you know, I just personally, usually if I'm making wings, or if I'm eating wings, I usually make my own. Because there's very few places that I really like their wings.
I like Quaker Steak.
Well, yeah, but that's such a far drive.
I like Wing House and Hooters. I basically
Wing House,
like any
I like
place
Wing House.
that has
I can do
wings.
some Wing House. I get down some Wing House for sure. I mean, the hot Dallas, the Dallas House on Fire technically is that's their
Wing
hot.
House,
That's
right?
their it's Wing House. That's their hot honey barbecue. I always go Dallas House on Fire. That actually kind of first time I went to Wing House and I tried that. Totally changed my whole wing,
Changed your life.
my wing game when it came to life. Yeah, I always thought it was just nothing but hot. But yeah.
Good. Well, unfortunately, we might not be able to eat wings and watch the Bucks, but we know.
Yeah, we might be evacuating, but what I can say is that it's ridiculous the lines that I saw for gas already today, and the fact that all the water is already sold out. It's just completely ridiculous. I got home from work and I looked at all these spaghetti charts, and almost 70% of the skew chart has it going up the eastern seaboard, and there's not a single projection for it to come right at Tampa Bay. There's only one of it actually going up the Gulf Coast of Tampa Bay, of Florida. So
it's a big storm, though.
Yeah, but even if it comes up the eastern coast and it hits us, it's going to be we're on the leeward side. We're not going to have the storm surge, and it's just basically going to be like the rain we had last week.
It will probably be a little windier.
Maybe. But, I mean, it's not going to be... It's not going to be a catastrophe. I'm just saying. It's like a 10% chance. Probably less than that. Less than 10% chance.
Then why are you going to evacuate?
I said, if that 10% chance occurs, hell yeah, I'm out of here, dude. My house is literally like most of the football players in the NFL could probably throw a football from my backyard and almost hit the marshlands on the other side of the road.
Who can't?
Well,
I
don't know about.
But anyway,
but no.
You guys be safe. We'll have more weather.
I'm just saying. I think I understand Harvey just fucked some shit up in Houston, and that's scary. But I've lived in Tampa for 15 years, and there have been multiple hurricanes, and I've lived in Florida for most of my life, in fact. And the same thing happened with Hugo. Everyone was worried about it, and it was going to come all the way across the state and go up the Gulf, and it just hit the Gulf Stream and went up the East Coast and went and hit the Carolinas and totally screwed Carolinas. And I think we're looking at a similar storm to that. Maybe Andrew, which God forbid, I wouldn't really want it to hit. I mean, I really don't want it to hit anybody, but least of all Florida. And I do have family in Miami and a lot of close friends down there. But I think the worst thing that Florida's going to get is really going to be, if it hits Miami, it's still going to hit the Gulf Stream and go up the eastern seaboard. It's just going to carry it right up there to the Carolinas. Like I said, we'll get hit, but it's not going to be, oh my God, we have to hoard water and plywood and gas a week before it gets here.
I'm not going to have water, so because I can't
like I said,
any.
I'm not worried about getting water. A, I always usually have a case and a half at least around my house, and then B, we're gone. Like, we're packing everything that's important upstairs to the second floor, putting up the shutters, and we will leave. We will not be trying to ride out the storm. I'm not stupid. If it looks like a direct hit, you know what I mean.
So keep your radio dials tuned to
Shooter and
the
Stache.
Station. That's probably not the place to go.
No, probably not.
Anyway,
yeah.
Redskins preseason game. Speaking of hurricanes, they had some rain for this game. Did you go? I know a bunch of people that went to this fourth game of the preseason. Two of which, Dante Dye and Bobo Wilson, competing, as we found out, for that wide receiver spot on the practice squad. Dante Dye did not look good from the highlights they showed. I only watched part of the game.
I do want to say real quick, Danny was talking about better to have and not need than need and not have. Well, I personally work outside and work in construction, and I need water and I need plywood on a daily basis for work. And now I can't go get water that I need to stay hydrated for the rest of my work week because people are grabbing it just because. There's a small chance that we might have a hurricane. So that's just my 2 cents from a personal standpoint. Moving on.
There's a shortage of water.
Right.
Well, you know where there's not a shortage.
But don't worry, I'll have heat exhaustion tomorrow at work because I can't go get a case of water to stay hydrated because everyone else is worried about a hurricane that potentially is 4 to 5 days away.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
What's wrong with the tap water?
That too. I don't understand. That nobody has Brita pitchers at home because my wife and I, actually the other thing we do is we fill up our old juice containers from our kids. Storm tips. We fill up our own juice containers with our big old pitcher for what we have in the fridge.
We need a producer.
How many people have water in the refrigerator with the filter? Just sit there and fill up your big old juice jugs or old gallon milk jugs or whatever else. Wash them out. Store your own water. Why are you getting ripped off paying for water when you're already paying for water at home? You're paying less.
Do you have any more storm tips?
I have many, but let's just move on.
Maybe not water related.
We can move on. People don't understand that there's actually science to hurricanes, and it's not just some voodoo. You know, there's science to weather.
There's a little bit of science, and if there's something we know a lot about, it's science.
It's science, especially weird science.
We were thinking about starting a second page dedicated to the movie Weird Science.
That's true. S&S, Shooter in the Stache and Science.
Yes. Triple S.
For short. Sure. Even shorter than S&S.
We'll just do science experiments. Pretty
a
much.
la Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
And Bill Nye.
Whatever happened to Mr. Wizard?
I'm pretty sure he died.
You know who was like a Mr. Wizard on the field?
Bobo Wilson.
He was.
He kind of was.
He wasn't that bad in that.
He actually played good in the second half
game.
against the Deadskins cut men. Let's just say.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let's just say that's probably why he made the practice squad. And also,
he played well, though.
I think the main reason he made the practice squad is probably his attitude.
Yes. His bad attitude.
His terrible Florida State football attitude.
Hey, we're not even there yet. We're at the preseason game.
We're talking about Bobo.
The preseason game.
You and your chronological order.
Let's talk about the preseason game because he scored a touchdown.
Ish.
Got called back. Had some nice returns. And you compare that to Dante Dye, who all the highlights they showed of him was just him.
Yeah, but man, hey, listen, okay. That's production, bro. I say this all the time to wifey when we're watching reality shows. Like, you know, even cooking shows, it's all reality shows. So they're gonna cut it up to make the one guy look worse than he really is and the other guy better than he. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna put packages together to be like, this is why he didn't make it. Well, I mean, everyone said that the guy plays football. He just missed a couple of weeks, and so, you know, he didn't look terrible.
A couple of weeks could have been the difference.
Coach Dirk even said that to Dye. He's like, that's absolutely the difference.
But
you
he's also been around for
he's a third-year guy, and he'll probably get picked up.
Probably time to move on anyway.
Yeah.
So, Cepho, the only thing I could tell from his game is no protection.
None.
No protection at all.
That backup offensive line. Whoever's out there playing offensive line.
His poor mother and girlfriend are watching. They keep cutting to them. And they're like, "Oh,
poor ladies, right?"
Cepho.
And then the literal cartoon, a la Goofy playing football in Disney back in the day when he gets hit. And his head spins all around his head, and then it comes up sideways.
That pretty much happened.
That pretty much literally happened to Cepho. Like, his helmet was so sideways it broke his nose, and his teammate couldn't even get it off. But his teammate probably made it worse because he didn't know which way to spin it. I think that was the funniest part. Because what lineman came up, probably the one that came up to hit, comes up to try and straighten the helmet out, and he's turned it the wrong way.
You just gotta pull it up and off.
Right. Why are you trying to spin that shit? Like, dude, get off me. Get off me. Take it off.
He still wasn't even getting protection from McNichols.
No.
Who can't block, which is why he didn't make the team.
Yeah.
And then they kind of highlighted the other duel, which was Lynch
and
Bulla.
Yeah.
And Lynch had the forced fumble.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing that kind of bothered me as well, is because almost all the plays they showed of Lynch were in the run game, and he was making tackles in the run play.
Yeah.
But then all they showed was Riley Bullen not being able, not quite getting a passing game. But Coach Cutter said you've got the run part of it down. So why didn't they show Riley making plays on the run game like he clearly was? You know what I mean?
It's the
editing.
Magic of
that's what I'm saying.
Movie making.
That's what I'm saying. You always gotta watch out for these guys, man.
Exactly,
they don't even want you to see what they want you to see. You know what I mean?
That's exactly why they put that in there, though. Because he wasn't making those plays.
Well, no, right. And I mean, he's a rookie, and Lynch is a third-year guy.
Yeah.
He's already been through a couple of camps and a couple of other teams, so...
Good for Lynch, because he was the guy that they said was on Hard Knocks last year, right?
Yeah, he's only got cut for the Rams.
He did not get cut this year.
Right, no, he made the 53-man.
And he looks good. That looks really good.
No, and they're deep at running backs, or middle linebacker, so for him to be able to make the team at that position is pretty impressive.
You know what was pretty impressive after the game?
What's that?
When Kirk Cousins meeting of the minds. He liked that. He liked Joe Dirt.
He liked Joe Dirt.
I'm sure he was lobbying for the Redskins to pick him up.
He liked it.
That was pretty cool. He was definitely
it definitely seemed like he'd been watching Hard Knocks. Yeah, absolutely.
So that was it. That was it for the preseason game. They looked horrible. It was all the backups and
I mean both teams looked terrible.
Hopefully none of those guys are playing too much on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But then we get to the cut, so we get to see them all get cut. Well, not all of them. And the guy who I think probably has the worst job is Shelton Quarles.
I didn't know he had that job.
Why did they make he's one of the Buccaneers?
Right, he's in the Ring of Honor.
Is he?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he was. You mentioned he's like it's getting full. I swear he's in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that Ring of Honor is filling up quickly. I don't think he's in it yet.
Really? If Mike Allsot's in there, he should be. Anyways,
that's debatable, but he is the guy now that has to call and cut players essentially.
You know, if you're getting the call from me, you can't be too good.
Yeah.
You know.
So, that's the guy that all the players probably just try to stay away from.
Yeah, I don't even want to see your ass.
I don't want to be.
No, I'm not saving your number in my phone.
So,
new phone, who dis?
Yeah, and they showed Riley at one point getting a phone call. But I guess
trickeration again. You gotta watch out for that. Tell you, man. They're always trying to screw with you. Always trying to screw with you.
So the first cut is the deepest.
How long did it take you to get there?
Cepho. Came into camp as the fourth string.
Yeah.
Worked his way up by injury to the third string. Somehow couldn't compete with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's also horrible.
Yeah, and old.
Yeah. So he gets cut.
No invitation to the practice squad at all.
No, he did. Well, they didn't mention that, did they?
No. Well, because that was the first guy when I was like, oh, well, he's going to go to the practice squad. And you're like, well, I don't know. And then, the very next person they talked to was like, well, we're going to offer you. They want him, the narrator says, oh, but they want to talk to him about being on the practice squad. I'm like, well, okay. I guess these guys aren't, automatically going to the practice squad.
Maybe they're keeping it open for Ryan.
Ryan. That's what I was going to say. It's not Ryan, it's Ryan. But he's going to be the QB.
Sorry. It should be fucking Ryan.
It should be Ryan. It's Ryan.
All right, time out. Calling a quick time out here because we got a question.
Uh-oh.
Stache, give it to us.
Oh, man, I think Danny just asked how we're feeling about the TJ Ward pickup. How can you feel about that? That's awesome. That's something the Bucs have been needing to do. And that's two big, I think, moves they've made in available free agents this season between Deshaun and now TJ. That dude's, Super Bowl, champion,
all pro.
All-pro.
He would have been the best available safety if he was a free agent.
Right.
So they jumped on him. By the way, not featured in this episode at all.
Right, which I think is kind of lame that HBO packed up and got out of town so quickly. But it must be something to do with the NFL and these teams are very hush-hush when it comes time for the regular season and what their game plans are. So
I was expecting
surprise me too much
to see something about him at least joining the team.
Me too.
Maybe even a camera there when he got there the other day.
Right.
But I guess HBO
already wrapped and gone.
So we don't get to see him except for on the field.
Yeah, but I think it's huge. I think it's a huge deal. I mean,
well, it's an instant upgrade to a position that we were not very good at.
Right.
Because now you basically, I don't even know who the starting safeties are. So Ward's going to be one.
Right, and then they traded. They traded their other They traded one of their safeties after Wilcox. No, not Wilcox. It was Wilcox, right?
Yeah. They traded him.
Right.
He's the other guy that they picked up
former
first
Cowboys.
In free agency. They picked him
former
up
Cowboy.
Obviously, an upgrade.
Yeah.
They like Chris Conte, so I don't know what his deal is going to be. And the same thing with Tandy. I think Tandy's got to play.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see what Tandy's got.
I agree.
So I hope it's.
But I like Chris Conte though too. I think he play. I mean, I don't think he's.
I don't hate
top
him as
guy,
much
right?
As everybody.
No, I don't think he's a top guy, but I think he shows a lot of skill, and I think he plays the game in a really awesome way. It kind of reminds me of Bob Sanders a little bit, the way he plays safety. Maybe not quite as talented, but his mentality about playing, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
But I haven't seen Ward play that much. But I know that Denver secondary has been good for a while.
Our good friend Monty is a Broncos fan, and my family are all Broncos fans. Living in Denver, I've seen quite a bit of him play, and the dude's going to bring a completely different element to the back end of that defense that Tampa hasn't had in a while. He brings a presence that you now have to 100% game plan for him, 100% at all times. And that's just going to make the line, and the linebackers free up and be able to play a little bit more freely because, they're having to worry about that secondary and that safety over the top, and him coming down. He's good. He's good over the top, and he's good on the line.
Huge move.
Big move.
Very happy about that.
Very happy.
Time in. Going back
Except for my Facebook decided to say timeout.
Going back to... Oh, there you go. Wayne says that Ward is a beast if he stays healthy. I think that goes for any player.
Well, yeah. I mean...
He looks like a little guy, though.
I mean, he's not jacked.
I guess for a safety, you don't have to be that big.
Right. I mean, remember Hines Ward? Or not Hines Ward.
Hines Ward.
No, shut up. Polamalu wasn't a big dude.
Yeah. It's a good point. All right, so back to the cuts. Cepho cut. Jeremy McNichols.
Yep. Cut.
He was cut.
I don't know.
Controversy
your chronology be damned. I was disappointed in him because the team told him specifically they wanted to work with him. He just needed to get a little more confidence, learn the playbook a little bit more, and he went crying like a little bitch with a skinned knee and signed with the 49ers practice squad because he got his feelings hurt because he got cut because he can't pass block. He made the same mistake in practice and in 2 games in a row. That's going to get your ass sit to the practice squad in any team. To see how long he lasts out there in San Francisco, even though he probably has more opportunity out there because they're not as deep at running back as they are here.
Definitely has more opportunity.
He has more opportunity. If he can just barely pass block, he might be able to actually make the squad. So I can't be mad at him for that. But at the same time, it's the Niners, man. Don't you want to win? I mean, I guess you got to get on the field before you can win.
That's true. He said he just wanted a fresh start. So
he's a freshman. He was a 5th-round draft pick as a rookie. I mean, a freshman. He's a rookie. 5th-round draft pick. What is he expecting? How many 5th-round draft picks really make the 53-man roster in their first year?
I bet it's quite a few.
I bet it's less than 20%.
Yeah. Well, no, it's got to be more than that. A 5th-round pick? There's a lot of running backs that were picked after him that are probably making the squad. The guy can't block. If you can't pass block in the NFL...
No, that's period. You have no job.
You're done.
Yeah, you have no job.
So, even Jason Light was like, we don't want that attitude here anyway. So, that was kind of a shocker, though. I'm surprised he bolted for San Francisco. You know who probably told him that? You know who told him? Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg told him,
come out here to the Bay,
That's
nephew.
What they didn't show. That's behind the scenes.
That phone call from Snoop Dogg. Come on, nephew. Come out to the Bay Area.
Come on out.
Come out to the Bay
California.
Area.
It's legal.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Will Clark pickup? I think he was a defensive lineman, right?
Yeah, veteran. He's with the Saints for a while.
Hey, you always get
he's an interior guy. Yeah, he's a veteran interior guy. I mean, I didn't really... to be honest, I saw the TJ Ward, and then I've been kind of following the Ezekiel Elliott.
I think this
stuff.
happened today.
So I think this happened just today.
It's not going to be like a huge pickup for them.
It's going to add a lot of depth and some veteran depth, and that's important in the interior part of the line.
Anytime you can get another pass rusher.
Yeah. Well, and I think he's a multi-time Pro Bowler as well.
Is he? No.
I believe so.
Will Clark?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was on the Saints.
Dante Dye.
Yeah.
Next cut. And I was seeing a pattern in Dirk's delivery here of how he. Well, yeah, it was. He was cutting these players, and he was telling them all, don't feel bad because I yell at you at practice. That doesn't mean you're a bad player. He was very worried about, the players being worried about him yelling at them in practice and saying, just because I yell at you at practice doesn't mean that you're not a great player.
Right.
But apparently, Jeremy McNichols
didn't get that memo or didn't think that was the truth.
I thought he kept saying that. And he still did have some.
Well, he did. But there's the other thing that I noticed was how he's like, oh man, you could play. You could definitely play in this league just as a fit in our team and our scheme or our time right now. And he just was always incredibly positive. I was just waiting for that one guy to come in the room and just be like, you probably just want to hang it up, Bubba. Like this NFL ain't for you. I wanted to see those guys.
Well, it might have been Bobo that he said that to, except
he actually
wasn't
didn't show
there.
up. No, right? He wasn't there to get cut.
He took off to Miami
right away,
and they wanted to sign him to the practice squad over Dante Dye, and they told that to Dye when they actually cut him. He said they told him that Bobo is going to get that practice spot.
Yeah, he did.
They did. And then later on, poor old Shelton calls Bobo, and Bobo's like, "I'm down in Miami," and Shelton Quarles is just like,
"What?"
He starts to take a note.
he's like, "Well, I'll let everybody know, but they're gonna want you back."
And then it comes,
and then he tells the coach and Jason "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, he was not happy.
No, he almost cut him right away, and he decided to take a step back and.
Well, then it became like this entire game of telephone where Sheldon Quarles is the middleman
for everyone.
You better get here by 1:00 tomorrow. And I guess Bobo made it at the last minute. Bad attitude and all.
Just not the kind of guy I want to see on her team.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know James is high on him because the kid's got talent, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe if he hangs out with James a little bit, being on the practice squad and being around $1. Being in town, maybe that'll help his attitude a little bit.
I'm okay with him being on the practice squad. I mean, they got to get rid of him if he doesn't follow the rules and do what they want him to. But I think Dante Dye has been here for 3 years now and just can't stick. So got to go with the young fella.
No. This is I think Dye's first year in camp with the Bucs.
No, he played last year.
Did he?
Yeah, he played on the actual squad, which reminds me. Our wide receivers are much better this year. So they didn't even say it, but it was Bernard Reedy that got that fifth wide receiver spot.
Yeah, another guy
who was not featured at all.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people were commenting and kind of agree with me. Not impressed with Bobo. Should have got cut whenever he left for Miami.
So, is there any FSU fans out there? Is Bobo really worth the hype? I think they said he was injured last year. I like him just as a kick returner. If you could keep going as a kick returner, he seemed pretty good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys that are talented with the ball in their hand on any given squad. I don't know that you keep a guy around other than a couple of the guys in history, Dante Hall. You keep those guys around, but you don't really make room for a guy just to be a kick returner. Especially a guy with an attitude like that, I don't think. I think that's a big part of why he's on the practice squad and not on the team, on the 53 roster, because they just think he needs to learn a little bit of humility and learn what it's like to be not the top guy,
Yeah. Or maybe he's just smarter than all of us, and because you can't get cut if you're not there.
Yeah.
The big surprise was Anthony Auclair, the Canadian.
Looks like we got a troll.
Who was featured.
Woohoo.
Who was featured.
Thanks, dude.
The Canadian that was featured.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season where he was singing the Canadian national anthem. That's pretty much the only thing that you saw from this guy.
Yeah.
Made the squad.
53-man squad. Deep at tight end this team is. A lot of good tight ends.
I haven't really seen much from this guy, but they like him. They love him.
Yeah.
So he needs a nickname, and I don't know, send him to a Lightning game or something.
Totally.
Get him some seats.
Yeah, let the kid feel at home. But he did say that he liked that they didn't treat him like a Canadian and didn't you don't know this or that because you're Canadian. They just tried to teach him because he was new with football.
Right. And then our guy Riley, Joe Dirt. You knew it was going to happen. We were just waiting. It's like that movie where Leonardo... No, I'm going to a different Leo movie.
Right.
It's like Titanic, where you know what's going to happen. Yeah. You're just waiting for it to happen.
Right.
So they gave him... He's on the practice squad now, though, I believe. And you can tell Dirk loves his attitude. The guy's just not fast enough, and... He told him, his pass coverage just kind of stinks, but it'll be good for the practice squad. Cameron Lynch was the beneficiary of him getting cut or put to the practice squad. And Cameron Lynch, as we talked about earlier, deserved it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they say that. I mean, it's all about the highlight packages, But Keith, first of all, Keith was saying that, asking us what we think about not really highlighting OJ, which I was actually just going to bring up since we were talking about the depth. They basically only showed a few pictures of OJ in this whole season. They didn't show anything on him.
I think it was episode 2. There was a quick little segment where it was the top 3 draft picks from the first 3 rounds. It looked like they were in a hotel room. And
right.
OJ, I don't even remember what he said, but they kind of got some airtime there. And that was it.
That was it.
I think they kept them away from most of those top rookie picks, those top 3, because Justin Evans wasn't really in there.
Yeah.
Even Kendall Beckwith, who's supposed to be doing awesome in training camp practice, wasn't featured at all, even though I think he was on that one segment too. So we'll see if we see them more during the season, because they certainly were.
They certainly went on Hard Knocks.
But we were talking about this earlier. You also didn't see a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, like Levante wasn't there.
Levante David was barely on screen at all.
No Humpty Hump.
I don't remember Cameron
Brate. I don't think
on screen at all. Adam Humphries wasn't there at all. So a lot of these guys that are going to be everyday players really weren't featured.
Yeah.
Vernon Hargraves.
Yeah.
He wasn't on there at all either. So I was kind of disappointed in those guys that, are really our team not being featured, because we got to know all these young guys who either made the practice squad basically or got caught.
Right, or we got excuse me, we got a lot of GMC, a lot of Evans, and a lot of James. Which, I mean, I guess if you really think about it, those are the 3 big stars and the core,
I was expecting
stars. That. Right.
I wanted a little bit more Quan.
Yeah.
We didn't get many safeties.
No.
Involved in Hard Knocks either. So,
I think Grimy getting hurt was kind of a problem for them too, because it seemed like they were going to feature Brent Grimes too. And then when he got that laceration, right. I don't blame him for that. So Galen asked, after kind of trolling us, who we really think is going to win Miami or Bucks, and I just want to know who you really think the quarterback's going to be for the Dolphins when that game eventually gets played, because I know who the quarterback's going to be for the Bucks, and that's why I picked the Bucks.
Well, it's hopefully Jay Cutler, right?
I hope it's Jay Cutler, just so I can make a whole lot of fun of Miami Nation.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: the last time the Bucks played Jay Cutler, which was last year, right?
Did he play in the game last year?
When they played the Bears, and it was a blowout.
Yeah.
And I think he had 2 interceptions, a fumble. So I realize the Dolphins are a better team.
Are they?
But I think it's going to be a close game.
I think that obviously Miami can run the ball, but if any team that's one-dimensional in the NFL is doomed to be doomed to failure. And I think the Bucs secondary and the Bucs defense, I think, is really underrated so far coming into the season. I think it's going to be a top 5 defense absolutely by the end of the season. At the end of that they're going to be in the top 5. So. I think it's going to be, and they have a potential to have a top 5 offense too. I mean, they really do. So, I don't know so much about the Dolphins.
Well, they made the playoffs last year. So
sure.
That's something.
They did. They made the playoffs in the AFC.
To me, it doesn't really matter where they play, which is the talk of the town right now. But the Bucs are going to win. It doesn't matter where they play.
Well,
where should they play? I was hoping that they would move the game.
What's up, Jordan? We got an old friend joining us live on Facebook.
I was hoping that they were going to move the game to like Friday or Saturday.
Right, move it up like a high school game.
I guess that's still possible.
Well, Keith asked if they're going to move the game somewhere else, or if they're going to move it to week 11, which I guess that's an option that they're throwing out there. I mean... The only problem is that where do you really move the game to?
I think Jacksonville's available. New Orleans is available. Atlanta's available.
Atlanta's available?
I think Charlotte is also available from what I heard today. They're all away games.
Oh, really?
So there's options. It
So
has to
all of our other NFC South teams are playing away games.
That's what.
So basically all the NFC South was starting off the season on away games.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That seems strange.
I also heard it has to be at an NFL stadium for the replay and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
It'll be interesting to find out, and especially if it gets moved to Week 11, this game could be way more important in Week 11 than Week 1. You know what I mean? Like a Week 1 loss, it's not that big of a deal. A Week 11, that's when you start talking about playoff seeding, and you know.
I don't like the idea of them moving the game. I guess they share a bye week, right?
Yeah.
But then that means they have to play 16
games straight without a bye week.
Yeah, that bye week's probably huge.
It's crucial, and especially Week 11. That's like a choice week, I think, for bye week.
And I think that's part of the delay is the NFL probably went to both teams and said, you guys both have this bye week. Let's just play it that week, and you guys will use Week 1 as a bye week, which is not a bye week.
Right.
And they both probably said,
what's your
other
option? What else you got? What else you got?
So they got to figure it out soon. One of the things that nobody's really talked about, but I did see someone say it on Twitter, was why not move the game to Monday in Miami still? But you also really don't know what the condition is going to be.
I mean, I don't understand why you can't just move it to Tampa.
Well, then it would give us an extra... That they can't do. Because then we get a whole extra home game. And then other teams are going to complain.
Well, but if we move it from Miami, then Miami loses a home game.
I think what you do is you just send everyone to New Orleans. And they're all... I also saw on Twitter they're worried about like the players' families and being worried about the families.
Right.
Take the families with you. I think the Bucs and the Dolphins can pony up some money. Maybe the NFL can pinch in a little bit. They can go...
All right, you've already crossed the line, dude. You've crossed the line into fantasy land. We're trying to do at least a somewhat reality-based show here, all right?
I don't think it would...
Let's keep it in this realm of possibility.
The pockets that much.
No, I'm not saying that it would. It's the likelihood of it happening is like nil.
So I'm guessing we're going to find out tomorrow on Wednesday... What's going on?
What's going
right
down.
now, there will be no game in Miami on Sunday.
There will be no joy in Mudville.
And if you're watching us, you probably know that already.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, they go over the cuts, and the show kind of abruptly ended.
Yeah.
That was it.
I lost my notes because of Bixby.
No, that was it.
No.
It was so they went over. First of all, Cutter's got this sweet touchscreen, like 55-inch TV.
I just think that's all the NFL.
Do you think everyone's got that now?
These days,
a sweet display touchscreen, and he's like dragging and dropping.
And it's got windows on it.
I forget who the last player they were talking about.
It was McNichols because he quit.
Because they dragged that out where he kind of came. It was weird because he came back and said, I'm not signing on the practice squad. Right. I guess maybe he had
to clean out his locker or whatever. It looked like he was getting his gear.
And Jason
Jason Link was...
fuck him.
First of all, he was totally astounded and caught off guard. And then he was like, hey, he got hurt because he got cut after not making the same play 3 times in a row. We don't need a guy like that. Anyways, I agree.
Probably not his exact words, but pretty much.
But, I mean, that was... No, not verbatim, but that was definitely a good paraphrase.
So, they show, him, how he gets cut on the screen, basically.
Right.
And deleted from the system.
From the roster.
And then
that was
fade to black.
Not even fade to black, just cut to black.
Not even like...
cut to black.
Not even like a cliffhanger. Like,
not even a... Whoa. Now that the 53-man roster, they're like, the ship is ready to sail. And I'm like, whoa, calm down. What's going on here? And then they went to the cut, and then that was it. Like, they didn't do a little, hey... Go get them Bucks,
It was a quick ending.
I was just put a little bit of rah-rah at the end.
Yeah. I feel like just to parody it a little bit, since that's kind of what we do.
We need to start.
We're just going to end the stream right now.
Right.
See ya!
Later. I'm serious.
Well, I should have,
because we're already at an hour or two, which is insane for us.
So, that's it. Overall thoughts on Hard Knocks. It's over.
I liked it a lot. It was cool. You know, I've always been a huge fan of the... Oh, not huge. I don't like to use, you know, hyperbole when it's not necessary. But I've always been a fan of the Bucs. Obviously, most of you know that I'm a Cowboys first. I have been since I was very, very young. So, but I've done, you know, all I can to support the teams in the town that I live in for 15 years. So it was cool because it brought me a little bit more on to the legitimate Bucs fan scenario. You know what I mean? Being like a little bit more legit of a Bucs fan. And also it was cool to see the inside of it. You know, the behind the scenes that you don't really get to see all the time, and see how they differ from a few of the other franchises I've seen on Hard Knocks. You know,
yeah,
that's the way they function. I really like it. I really like what I'm seeing out of One Buck Place.
I think it helps the franchise a lot. I think they'll earn some new fans. And then they talked about, like, even after that first episode, that Jameis's jersey sales went way up.
Yeah, skyrocketing.
And he really wasn't featured that much in this final episode.
No, he had one little rant about the dirty South, and that was about it. Yeah. And then cheering on Bobo wearing those ridiculous shorts. Yes. Listen, Jameis, brother, if anybody can get word out to you, bro, you're a man. Shorts got to go past the knee, bro. Past the knee.
A couple inches above the knee.
And I mean, no. Okay, at least like to the top. They're gonna be touching the knee. Them shorts you were wearing on the sideline were like 3 inches above the knee. That is not acceptable attire for a man of your stature and a man of your physical abilities. Okay, I'm just putting it out there for you.